Hello, this is Vicky. This is my 2048 puzzle game. The original game was in Android Studio. The ported game was created in Unity C#. What you see here is my new and improved game. If I'd have known it looked this well in Unity, I would have created it in Unity to begin with. So it is very much improved. So you can see the functionality. It has join the numbers and get the 2048 tile, and it shows how to play. Has both a new game button, a high score button, and a score button. If you click the new game, it resets the screen. It does function. You can swipe the buttons, and when a like number is swiped on top of itself, it adds to the score. As you can see, the score is 52. I just added 56. So the object is to get to the score 2048 before the game screen fills up with tiles and there are no more moves possible. So you can see my score is 140, my high score is 7368, and I can start over. It randomly puts the tiles in place. Now, to talk about how I accomplished this, that's the real story. I did not find an API to make the Java code from the Android Studio easily transferable into C# in Unity. So I put the games and the code side by side and started writing in C# the code that I had in Java for the Android Studio. So I have a game manager. This is just to set up the behavior to manage everything. This is just for all the tiles and to start and to move directions. My input manager accepts the input and establishes the public enum, establishes the moves, which are left, right, up, and down. That are the only moves you can make. Creates the awake method. And this creates the right arrow if you want to use the arrows instead of swiping. Right arrow moves right, left arrow moves left, up arrow moves up, down arrow moves down. That's all that particular class accomplishes. The tile style holder, however, this is my styles of tile. Public color 32, and it's the tile style. It's a mono behavior. It's just a singleton. It just holds the style holder instance and the styles. The tile itself, this is the main class. This is where it sets each of the tiles that are available. As you can see here, there are 11 elements. Actually 12, because the number 2 tile starts at 0. There are 12 elements. There's an element for each number. As I mentioned, the numbers double, 2, 4, 8. So there's a style holder that holds all the information for each of the possible numbers. Each tile includes an image, which is a different color per number. Text, the text is just, it's a different color. It's either black or white depending on the color of the tile itself so that it shows. And the text itself, which is actually the number itself. So each case holds all this information, all 3 of these pieces of information for the tiles. And that's how many tiles I have. And I have a default for debug to check the numbers. And I had to set them visible and set them empty. If they're empty and you hit restart, then 2 tiles come up and they're visible again. So the end result is a better game than I had in Android Studio. It looks similar. I just was able to get more of the features on that, and I was able to get the text. And using the grid layout, I was able to really establish the grid, and I'm very excited with this. And coming up next is the original video on my 2048 game in last month's course done in Android Studio. Thank you. Good evening. This is Vicky. I want to introduce you to my game, 2048. The game is A favorite of mine, since my high school students several years back introduced it to me because I like math and I like board games. The objective of 2048 is it's a puzzle game based on basically simple addition. The objective of the game is to reach a score of 2048 by merging adjacent similar number tiles on a 4x4 board. The game starts with two tiles of two random positions on the board, as you can see on the screen right there. I have my emulator up for my WXGA tablet. You can see the two random positions on the board, and it continues to add new tiles of 2 or 4 on random tiles after every move. The game ends, however, when the board is completely filled with numbers and you don't have any move left. You win when you get a score of 2048, but the game doesn't have to end at 2048. You can continue adding points to your score for as long as you can go until all of the tiles are filled up. I had a student in my computer science academy actually reach 16,000 and some odd change at one point. So let's take a look at my game. As you can see on my emulator, let me get my mouse over here. I do have a block that it totals the score as you go. Top score, that's just me since I've been playing the game. And I have a reset button right here. I can reset the game. You see the two tiles that are put on the board randomly every single time. So I have the random feature. Now, to play the game, what you do is, let's say I want to start from here. I can't match 2 with a 4. I can only put a 2 on a 2 or a 4 on a 4, and so on and so forth. So what I need to do is I need to get numbers together. See, I've got two 4s here. If I drag this 4 on top of this 4, I have an 8. Now you can see my score up there is 12. If I put this 2 on 2, I got 4 more, so that makes 16. Now I've beat my own top score. If I put this 2 onto this 2, I got 4. Now my score is 20. If I move this over, move this 4 onto this 4, this 8 to this 8, as you can see, my game is functioning. The tiles are adding up to the numbers that they're supposed to, and it's adding to my score. I used to be relatively good at this. I'm not so much anymore. So I'd like to show you my code here in a minute. I just want you to see that it does keep going. Now this is when it starts really adding up. I have put this 16 on this 16 and I've got 32. So now my top score is 136. It's really starting to add up now. So when you can get your numbers to get to the big numbers and they start doubling, that's when you have a better chance of getting up to 2048. So you can see that the game is functioning as it's supposed to. My score so far is 192. It's indicating that it is my top score. My top score is 192. I can hit reset and start over, and it starts over again. Now, something that I put on this particular game that I wanted to make sure I point out is I have test ads.